Oh, I thought you said he was going to use a Mr. Scrub Ninja Tuna spray. I'm still waking up, man.
Hey, it's cool. So most everyone starts off in Link's house. Looks like we have some early checks. I saw crystals down in the Eastern Palace and Desert. Don't know what was over in Hera, though.
That's an interesting start from Goomba, though. He's utilizing the fact that he has boots and doesn't actually need Rupees to use the hospital set to just go straight there and bonk the back.
Yeah, that ought to be pretty interesting. Thoris went ahead and did Bonk Rocks. Did find, I think, the Ether Medallion over there. Meanwhile, Uncle is giving us some bombs.
Thoris is going to do a hula hand for us.
That's real interesting early on. Meanwhile, Goomba does end up finding a bottle there in those first two, so I think he's fine. He's going to head on over to Kakariko Village at this point.
Yeah, it's not like a super difference maker or anything, but, you know, one extra thing to make his trip to Kakariko a little bit more convenient. So the common play after a Houlihan is to buy bombs in that Hylia shop and then go over to Sasua. Is that early Houlihan is pretty uncommon in open standard stage, and he's actually going to go left. Okay. I don't know why he did the Houlihan.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Goomba and Ninja are both going up and going to be checking to see what's going to be required or what's up on the Lumberjack ledge. But Demon's Druid is throwing us all for a loop. He's going right to the south route.
Yeah, I feel like these late Kakariko checks are getting more and more common.
They are starting to get more common. The prevailing theory really is that if you can get at least a couple other items that would unlock your access to Dark World, there's a portal right there. So if you happen to get your access to Dark World in Kakariko, it saves some time, a saving quit that you would normally not have to do.
So Thoris, who did the Houlihan, got one bomb from south of Grove, and then used that bomb to do the race game, but he could have bonked it.
Oh, Thoris.
So confused.
Oh, Thoris. It was the gloves, though, so keep that in mind. That was, worth there. I didn't quite see what was in Mini Moldorm Cave, except for we do have a blue mail upgrade there on Demon's Druid's side. Thank you, Link Force, one of our trackers in chat. Also, Angel has, I have no idea how to pronounce that many consonants together, but two of our trackers in chat, yeah. Mushroom in Ice Rod Cave, by the looks.
It's always fun. Demon Druid is going to do a water walk here out of Ice Rod Cave, likely only going to Hobo. And he says no. He's actually going to fake Flipper into a water walk, which means he's going to do an early check of the Waterfall Fairy.
Yeah, that's interesting. You have to be able to do the water walk glitch in order to check the Waterfall Fairy without the Moon Pearl, at least if we're going to sequence break it. And early on in the well...
Why is he going into the portal? Demon Druid, what are you doing? I'm so confused.
Yeah, this is going to end badly for Demon's Druid right here.
I think he is as confused as we are.
Yeah, that little trick does not work unless you have the Moon Pearl, unfortunately. In the well, just for anyone who noticed it, there was an empty treasure chest. That would have been where our boots were. So, I mean, it would have been early boots already, and Demons takes a death from getting hit.
So the setup he used was to store the water walk. So like typically what you do there is you fake flipper to Hobo and then jump south off of Hobo's little island to activate your water walk and then use the water walk to get to Waterfall Ferry. But I think he confused himself and did Waterfall Ferry first, which was not possible since he fake flippered. And unfortunately he died before he even got to check the Zora ledge.
Yeah. And at that point in time, unfortunately, it plays in the back of your mind. It's like, maybe you should just leave it all, because if you went all that way and you didn't get it, maybe you're hoping that was just an empty check and you just have to abandon, because spending all that time to go back is absolutely time wasted. More people using bombs for that wall. Oh my god.
Yeah, you can bonk that one, you guys.
We should point out this is kind of a stacked daily today. I saw 30 total entrants that are in here today.
Yeah, people like early boots for some reason. I don't really get it.
I don't understand either. Why would that be a fun seed?
Goomba picks his gloves off a race game, and Back of Escape is to play.
Yeah, nothing else really going. We don't even have much of a weapon to speak of, although we do have that mushroom that Demon has.
And Thoris is going to go up the mountain now. It's an interesting play to do this. He can only get 2 checks, and they're both completely out of logic.
We did end up seeing, looks like, our ice rod in the escape sequence. So that's nice to have off of our checklist already.
Confirmed Pendant Turtle Rock. Mark my words, you guys.
Oh my god, we have an ice Goomba on Ninja's screen. Blue male Goomba is kind of silly to watch.
Oh, I was looking at Goomba's screen. This is confusing.
Yeah, I know. It's going to happen all the time.
You can bonk that one too, Thoris. Oh.
All right. So, there's our last mail upgrade, by the way. So, everyone, we're cowards sub 10 minutes.
Thoris was walking like he was going to do Dark Cross with only bombs and an ice rod, but looks like he changed his mind.
So it's either the mushroom, or we might have to make a weaponless dip into Eastern Palace at this point in time, because as great as everything that we have is, we don't have a weapon, and we really don't have any solid progression yet.
What do you mean? We have an ice rod. We can one-shot blue guards.
Right.
Front of Escape has all the things.
God, I hope not. That would be horrible. I mean, yes, technically bombs are a weapon, and Thoris is going for it. So, I mean, this is new information. I'm going to say this is a bit gutsy.
I mean, the dice roll really does one-shot blue guards. So he only needs 1 bomb to get through this. I don't know if he knows the dice rod. Apparently he doesn't know.
Better weapon! Berta!
That works too.
White Wolfo's pointing out that, yeah, Zora's technically in logic. Man, that would be really bad for Demon's Druid if that was the case. And we do have plenty of money right now.
Yeah, I'm surprised Thoris hasn't already done Zora with that early Houlihan. Because I feel like that's the main value of doing the early Houlihan is getting early Zora.
The Chain Mirror just got here, asks for a quick thing. Everyone's cowards. Weapons are buried.
Thoris does pick up a sword, though, in the boomerang chest. Sweet.
Hey, I'll take it. It is a very healthy seed if you look at how much health Goomba has. My goodness.
And it looks like there will be an item in the Dark Cross chest, which Thoris will probably go after. Mr. Scrub farming rupees 20 at a time in the little thieves' cave here. Feels kind of bad.
Looks like Demons is going to be turning in the mushroom as well.
Goomba nopes out of the Zora checks. He didn't have enough rupees. Didn't want to bother.
Literacy. Okay, so, I mean, early boots. We don't have a fire source yet.
Desert's looking pretty good. I mean, even if you can't finish it, it's looking pretty good for having something.
It looks like it's where progress is going to be.
Well, Mr. Scruff is definitely going to be showing us something we haven't seen yet. He has the rupees for Zora.
Oh, Demon's Druid made a beeline for desert as soon as he found that book and found a hammer on the desert ledge. So,
hey, that's pretty good. Alright, Zora. Here's all my rupees. What do you got? Sweet.
not even a whole heart, just a little bit of love. That's disappointing.
Oh, I read that. It said the bow something something something.
I missed it, but then we have Moon Pearl on the the torch. So man, desert doubly impressive. That's our Dark World access thing.
Oh, Goomba's gonna give us the Ice Rod strats that I was talking about earlier. Obviously, if you wear blue armor, you are vulnerable to blue magic. Just makes sense.
I get the logic. I understand completely.
This is why red guards die to the fire rod and green guards die to the poison rod.
Nice and squeezy. The first sword was actually in Escape. Like, if you had the brass to be able to do escape with just bombs, you would be rewarded not only with the Cane of Burna very early on, but you would also find your sword in there. So it was a pretty good dive to go ahead and do that.
Wait, what do you mean just you needed one bomb, one single bomb.
To be fair, not a whole lot of people know about that ice rod actually damaging the blue guards. Like, normally you're like, oh, why can't I use the ice rod here? Why isn't one of the standard weapons that Uncle can give you? Oh, demons, don't go in there.
Demons.
Don't go in there.
Demons? Okay. That could have been bad.
That could have been hilarious. What are you talking about? All right. Meanwhile, we have some etc. running around, but Desert Palace is kind of the key puzzle piece here. And looks like Goomba is heading there, and heading there with a much more full complement of items to be able to get through here. He's got his weapons, having already gone through the escape sequence. Demon's Druid does have access. We'll wonder, are we already doing a pedestal check, Demons?
It looks like it.
All right, guys, let's see what we got. Just couch cash. Move along.
Move along.
Otherwise, Demon will be heading right over here to the Dark World. Oh, Goomba and Scruff Ninja. Jesus.
They're synced. Pendants at Skullwoods Swamp and green pendant at Ice Palace, and our second red is at Palace of Darkness.
That's super interesting, because that tells me that flippers may not be required. So right now, if I'm honestly hoping not to find the flippers from this point forward.
Demon Spirit opting out of the early Skullwoods dip, going straight south to Village of Outcasts.
Oh, let's go here.
I can't imagine he's too excited about the prospect of 6-heart hammer blind either, though.
Tracker is pointing out that hint that you said it told us where Bo was. Bo's in Pendant Swamp Palace.
Yeah, but do you really need a bow? I mean, what does it really do?
Quite a bit.
Okay, maybe. Maybe.
I mean, Pod, Eastern, climbing Ganon's Tower. Yeah, Nick Musk makes an interesting point. You know, all of the other runners are at almost a full row of hearts already, and Demon's managed to dodge everything. Like he has 6, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't know how he did that. I mean, he hasn't in front of escape. There was like 1 there, I think.
And Hype Cave appears to be not very hype at all. Yeah, that was I think our first 0 of 10 Hype Cave that I've seen in a long time. Usually there's at least something.
Goomba getting bodied on the overworld. Just let me go.
There's the Titansmiths on Stumpy. Oh, that's actually really convenient timing right there.
Makes me feel bad because I'm not a big fan of his routing. Like, I never go left from Hype Cave without mirror mitts. But he's getting rewarded for it.
Are you saying you do not approve of poor routing being rewarded?
No, it just makes me feel bad about myself, you know? Maybe Goomba knows something I don't.
Yeah, and a 3-point dig game. That was pretty nice.
Like, from Goomba's position, I probably would have gone up to Catfish right there. Or just saved and quit and gone to Village of Outcasts.
Meanwhile, Ninja actually showed us the lamp was on the pyramid. So that's our fire source to be able to go ahead and clear out Desert Palace whenever we want to dive back in there.
Sweet. Goomba immediately finding the Master Sword.
Sword of Evil's Bane was just buried in the yard. Jopo, lamp might be important as our fire source. Now, I mean, you can also make some deductions in terms of logic from it, but at the very minimum, it might be our logical access to clear things out of Desert Palace properly. Looks like the catfish is giving us almost nothing.
I don't recall. Was there a second item in Desert Raven Scene? I guess Thoris will show us here in a second.
I mean, the hammer was outside, so that's not part of that particular logic. But
Yeah, it was Moon Pearl on the torch, but I can't remember if there was a second item on the right side or not. There was.
Yep.
So I'm a little worried for Demon Shard right now. Hammer Blind is no joke.
It's considerably more difficult than just sticking your sword out and letting blind run into it. Yeah. Meanwhile, I don't think we've really gotten a whole lot here in Thieves Town. Nothing to write home about anyway.
I personally try to avoid the swordless blind fight if I can. But, you know, maybe like with one potion or something, I'd probably feel a lot safer. But this is bad things can happen. Like, it does not take that many mistakes for you to suddenly die doing the hammer fight.
So, Ninja, I think he's just digging up some extra rupees because he got his item.
Oh, demons. I'm sorry. I did this to you, didn't I? This is my fault.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Alright,
Thank you
looks
for
like
accepting responsibility.
He's opting to leave. This is fine though, because the blind fight will remain in the blind fight room. He won't have to go back up to the attic or down to the maiden again if he doesn't want to.
Now, I haven't really been keeping track of items, so I don't know if blind has an item or not.
Goomba, who does have a sword, will undoubtedly kill blind here, and then we'll find out.
Surger, Titans was on Stumpy. Ice Rod was pretty early. I think it was in Kakariko or
Back
somewhere similar. Back of Escape, right?
Mr. Scruff picked up the Smith. I'm not sure if that was such a good idea. This does keep him from going into Thieves Town completely. But maybe that's all part of his plan. Who knows? I don't know.
Thoris, meanwhile, trying to get this bomb jump off. Looks like he has the big key to Skull Woods.
Hello.
Hello, Flippers.
That's Ice Palace access. Yay!
Oh, God. God. Pendant, Ice Palace access.
Demon's figuring out his mistake. That darn frog! Just let me do my thing! Frog says no.
Yeah, that frog can be kind of a pain. At least, I mean, he's already done the world tour, hasn't he? Like, he's already done Hype Cave.
Yeah, he did. Right? Didn't he?
Thought he did.
No, he didn't. He started in Village of Outcasts, right?
Okay.
He went back and picked up the frog once he found the mitts on Stumpy. And he was just going back into Village of Outcasts for hammer pegs.
Alright, Goomba is going to show us King's Tomb, though. Meanwhile, Demons let us know what he thought of that particular Hype Cave. I'm hearing Hookshot on Bumper Cave. What?
If I didn't see it, it didn't exist. Chat has been known to stretch the truth. Can we really trust them?
Okay, Hook on Bumper Legend. I mean, 2 people in chat are confirming, so...
It's
great.
A conspiracy!
I mean, no offense to you guys in chat, but I will say, we have been burned many, many times by chat. So, if we are cautious, there's a reason.
Where are you headed, Goomba? Oh, just front of Skullwoods? Alright. I thought for sure he would, like, fake Flippered Ice or something.
Oh god, that would be horrible.
I mean, and once he does find the flippers here, it does, Ice looks like a pretty, you know, relatively okay place to find progression.
Was there anything on blind? You know, unfortunately, we couldn't quite tell. As has been noted, there's a little bit of lag here and there, and the end of the blind fight to the fanfare it just cut out a little bit, so we're not quite sure if something was on blind.
If he did have an item, it was not progression.
All right, so Demons is finally going to be ditching his Jeremiah to show us what exactly was the frog worth.
Piece of art.
I hope it's at least something reasonably worthwhile.
Well, we already saw it from Goomba.
Oh, did we? All right. Oops. I mean,
Fortification. Don't worry, you're gonna catch me like 10 more times this race.
okay, and there it was confirmed on Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna's screen. It was indeed the hook shot on the bumper ledge. So thank you, chat.
All right, you were right this time, chat. This time.
I mean, I'm just used to defaulting to presume everyone on the internet is a liar until proven otherwise.
So Goomba presumably picked up his flippers in the front of Skullwoods, finds out about the hook shot, and is now going to do purple chest.
You know, this could be interesting. So there's purple chest. We're starting to run out of location, at least desirable locations. We could dip Ice Palace, I suppose.
I think he's going ice. I mean, Pod's not super crazy either.
No, Pod's not super crazy. Oh, he hasn't done his Zora yet, so he's getting money for.
I mean, ice is, it's 4 items with that green pendant. We have everything we need to full clear it, even if it's not as much items as we'd like. It can, parts of Ice Palace can be hookshot or Samaria locked, but sometimes they're not, so the whole thing might just straight up be in logic.
I honestly think that's the most disconcerting thing for me about Ice Palace, is that despite being a part of this community for almost 2 years now, I still don't have a firm grasp on logical realities of what's required for Ice Palace.
Mit's hammer fire.
No, I mean internally, key logic associated with it. When is it hookshot locked? Yeah.
I mean, it's all about the keys, where the keys ended up lying in the dungeon. So you can't know until you get there. Demon's doing the sword fight with Blind now. Unfortunately, without the Maiden with you have to do this the less desirable. He starts at the top of the room phase. Finally, all those hours and hours of Toho have come to bear.
Rip.
And Goomba's doing it. Let's go Ice Palace. Pendant Ice Palace. We got this.
I'm still amazed that Demons somehow has about half the health that...
Yeah, where were these hearts?
Everyone else.
I'm very confused. The only thing I think he hasn't done is front of escape, right? Back of escape either.
It hasn't done any of the escape sequence. I don't think he's done. Well, I guess he's done Hype Cave, but there are just a lot of etc. checks that he hasn't made. Oh, Scruff Ninja Tuda doesn't have a weapon at all. I mean, he has a hammer, so he's actually doing the hammer blind.
Demon's Run having a little bit of trouble here with this fight.
Oh, it looks like we did find the cape actually in Ice Palace, which absolutely makes Ice Palace work.
Yeah, it gives us access to our hookshot now.
Yeah, I think you're right, Chad. I don't think Goomba knows about the hookshot, but I mean, he'll learn.
So what makes this blind refight so much more difficult is, in addition to just not having access to the script, right? At the start of the fight, Blind starts at the top of the room, but he's higher up in the room than normal, than you normally expect. So like, there's no room in between the wall and Blind for Demon Druid to be standing.
Yeah, and Demon says, "Okay, I'm gonna have to find something else."
A nice green pendant hit in the green pendant dungeon.
Hey, I mean, that's something. I would rather find that out now than before I would, like, wander over.
So I think what happened there on Goomba's screen is that he casted Bombos while standing too close to the pit. So it deleted the magic without actually casting the medallion, which is a really fast way to get rid of your magic if you're like doing magic bat. But maybe not desirable when you actually wanted to cast Bombos.
Yeah, maybe not. Yep, and all three items were found. Cape, Rupees, Bomb. So he decided, hey, I don't need that green pendant, so let's get out of here.
We're checking pedestal after Vanity Cold Stare. That's really funny.
I mean, I can understand it, I suppose. Just double checking that I didn't make a bad move, I suppose.
I don't know, just like, if you thought that was going to be a big gamble, like, maybe check ped before abandoning Cold Stare. Although, when he went into the dungeon, he didn't know he was going to find a green pendant hit like that, telling him that Cold Stare was less valuable.
True, true. Meanwhile, Demons looks like he is on his way back. Hey, this is a great way to clear your head after you've kind of had a rough go at it at another boss, couldn't quite get it down. Do something that you know you're able to do. Go kill a boss. That is still progression. You're going to have to come back here and do Desert at some point anyway. I actually really like this play by Demons.
I don't think he's gonna have that much more fun fighting Lamb though. Although he probably won't die. But like to fight Lamb with Fighter Sword and a hammer, it's kind of tedious.
Goomba is going to show us Hookshot, and Hookshot, I got to imagine, you know, as soon as that mirror comes out, we're taking a dive into Swamp Palace.
Yeah, I believe everybody does have that information about the bow being in Swamp. So it looks like Goomba's going to head up the mountain now, which is by far the most dense place he can go. Although from his point of view, this is out of logic. But we know that the lamp is on the pyramid.
Yeah, he simply doesn't know that, which is fine.
This Lambo fight, oh my gosh.
That's not bad. I've seen worse.
Like, no, it's just like, it's so slow with the Fighter Sword. Definitely not a fight you look forward to.
True. I concede that point.
And Dan goes Lanmo.
And hey, that's a crystal. That's a solid crystal there. Chad making a good point. We see the one thing about Goomba coming up here is that he does not have a fire source. It's in logic, so he should theoretically be able to, but man, if there's progress that's down in the basement of Tower of Hera, that could be awkward.
Yeah, if Hera is just like completely fire locked, it's bad, but not the end of the world, right? Because then he'll always come back as soon as he does find a fire source. The danger is if it's not fire locked, but there's progression in the basement instead, because then that location just gets completely orphaned, and he'll probably never do it. But with no mirror, he does have to go through all of Paradox Cave just to get over to Hera, so pretty good chance he'll find a fire on the way.
Demons is now going to be doing the escape sequence. He's going to be gifted with Cane of Burna and his Master Sword as well.
Will he find the 7 hearts he's missing? I don't know where all these hearts were. Everybody else is on their second row.
Meanwhile, Scruff Ninja Tuna is fighting what I can presume at this point is a completely wasted Cold Stare fight.
Yeah, there's nothing locked behind Cold Stare.
This might be a case of oops all dungeons. Oh, yep, there's Fire Rod and the Cane of Samaria.
Never
First
punished.
2 check.
Never punished. I mean, Hera's probably not fire locked anyway.
Quake medallion, so all medallions now. Doesn't matter what the others are.
So we're getting pretty close. We're still looking for the mirror to get to that bow, the flute, and oh, that's it.
We have an entire Dark World yet to check as well. Alright, so Scruff Ninja Tuna. Now we'll see. It looks like he's coming over to the Dark World over here. Yeah, and chat pointing out Turtle Rock's now on the table if we really want to do it.
Which I do think we want to, yes. Seems like a good idea. Crystal Dungeon, you can full clear and all that jazz.
Here's a unique item in the castle. Thanks, game. But yeah, it does look like it was fire locked at any rate, so Goomba probably a little happy he found his fire source.
Never punished.
Oh, Goomba's trying to take some hits. Here's the problem. Okay, so it's a heart of health of damage. But man, he's got red mail, so he's nothing else does a ton of damage right at the moment. There's his death warp. Meanwhile, Scruff Ninja Tuna on his way up the mountain as well. Going to be following in Goomba's footsteps.
Still missing that Master Sword, though. But at this point in the game, it's not like Front of Escape is really looking all that great.
You know, I think if you're already this far into the game, you've been to Dark World, you've cleared out some dungeons there, you're at least hoping that nothing's there. Otherwise, you might be feeling bad.
That was a mushroom hit.
Wah, wah.
Wait, what was on mushroom? I can't remember.
It was nothing. It was like 20 rupees.
Oh, it was the book. It was the book.
Oh, okay, so it was actually required, I suppose. See, guys, this is why I do commentary and I don't track, because I don't actually watch things.
Wait a minute.
That made a lot more sense.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Demon Sure doing the flipper text. He's unfortunately 11 rupees short of getting Zora's item. There is 50 rupees up on the Zora ledge, but he'd have to like do a big long trip all the way around. And that's what he's gonna do.
Alright, Goomba getting his crystal down.
Do you check Spiral, Goomba? Goomba says...
No.
Don't need it. It's just Spiral Cave. What's the worst that could happen?
What was on Zora's ledge? $50. That's it.
This is concerning that he's skipping Spiral Escape. I guess Mr. Scruff is doing it now, so we'll find out if there's anything useful in here. But Goomba can't get back there from the Dark World without the mirror.
It would be great if it was the mirror. I'm kind of hoping for it.
Why do you not like Goomba? Just 3 bombs. No punish. Never punish!
Why do you not like Goomba?
Because he's so gambly.
Alright, he's in Hookshot Cave. So far, nothing. 3 chests open.
Mr. Scruff, unfortunately, entering the Dark Vault from the bottom of Death Mountain, he will not be able to open TR this way. But maybe he doesn't want to go there. I don't know. He should want to go there. It's probably where stuff is.
At this point, yeah, it feels like this is where stuff is, and they both come into different rooms. Hey, there's a tempered sword. That's nice.
Yeah, very nice for Mr. Scruff, because it's unlikely he's going to go to Front of Escape anytime soon.
Demons is actually going to be giving us our first hint into Eastern Palace.
Oh yeah, we haven't seen this or Palace of Darkness at all.
Big key on Goomba's side. Early big key.
So Mr. Scruff unable to open TR. He's just going to walk over here and do Spike Cave. Spike Cave! Not ideal. Just 10 arrows.
Here's the second item from Eastern. We had rupees and bombs, so far it's been a whole lot of nothing.
One of those chain chomps took a bite at a Goomba, but Red Mal makes that not so bad.
It still hurts, but not horrible.
And at some point, demons ended up finding all the hearts that everybody else found. I guess it was just something to escape.
It's the third item in Eastern Palace, so it was nothing.
Mr. Scruff ended up climbing the mountain an extra time just to get back over here to Turtle Rock. He's not so far behind Goomba at this point.
And we do find Goomba found the mirror. It was in the Turtle Rock big key chest, so...
Of course.
Hey, we are...
Because this is a nice seed, right? We're probably going to find the flute on Laser Bridge, too. Or just in Pod or something.
Flute will be interesting, because Flute can be in a lot of different spots at this point, but at least we have some guidance. We know we're probably going to head to Swamp Palace to get our bow, After this, oh, there's a shovel.
Vanilla flute. Yeah, probably like one of the most bad places for the flute to be would be like in swamp, but after finding the bow. Because once you find the bow, like you just want to get out of there.
Left side swamp entirely. Yep. Demons is now taking a dip into Ice Palace, which we know is required. Graveyard Ledge would be pretty bad, but had we gotten a hint for that?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't think so.
All right. So Demons actually made what will end up being a smart play. Got the cape and said, nope, I'm good. I don't need to do the rest of Ice Palace. I don't care what else is in there. I'm good. And that's actually the right play, because nothing else in Swamp Palace was worth it.
Yeah, it definitely saves a chunk of time there. We got a compass. We got some rupees. We got a fall. Well, no flute on Laser Bridge.
Nope. There's still an item on Trinex, though.
Be a pretty free Trinex fight here from Goomba with that Tempered Sword. Mr. Scruff is going to have a much different time.
This fight is probably, is the easiest fight to highlight to show the difference between Tempered Sword and Master Sword. This fight is a pain in the tuchus with a Master Sword. Tempered Sword, you can do it almost blindfolded.
Alright, no flute and TR. We gotta go somewhere else. Goomba switches to Hookshot, so I think we are probably gonna see Spiral Cave now. Well, I mean, it's just for super speed right here. Maybe he continues skipping Spiral Cave and just goes over to Spike. Nah, Mirror, he said Spiral.
Looks like Thoris is also going to be on his way up the mountain as well. And, all right, so what? Yeah, we're just looking for the flute. This has been kind of an interesting seed. It felt like it's really dumped quite a bit on us very, very quick.
It's been kind of nice. I mean, you just go to the Crusted Dungeons, do the stuff on the way, and then the one, like, really bad thing, you get a hint tile for it. The only, like, really, like, uncomfortable thing you had to do was make that decision to go into Hidden Ice. And, like, everybody got pretty bottlenecked by it, even if they chose not to do it.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of other comfortable places, and getting Titan Smiths early, plus Bombos, plus the Flippers, you're like, oh, this is the game we're playing, huh?
But time will tell whether or not this is a like truly a bad seed or anything. We have to find out where that flute is to really know. But most likely it's just, you know, sitting in pod, right? Which everyone's gonna go to and everyone's gonna full clear.
Yeah, that's what it feels like at this point. The hookshot requires...
Cute,
Wow.
that's cute. Thanks, game.
I can't tell if, like, the game's hint systems almost feels a little bit like a condescending mother. Like, I just want you to know, in case you missed it now, the hook shot was on the ledge.
It is sentient, this is true.
Alright, so here's Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna, who is doing his best Trinex right now.
Running a little low on magic here. He's got it. GG.
The Trinex got him on the eyes, yep.
Okay, so this is early bow. Like, he gets the bow really quickly in Swamp Palace. He doesn't have to go left side or the back. But the flute can still be in left side or the back.
Yeah, that's a bit gutsy. There's a lot of locations that are there. But, you know, you've been complaining the entire time about Goomba and the risks that he takes.
No, he never gets punished. It's okay. No punish. I mean, it's way more likely to be in Pod than in Swamp at this point, right? Like, we already saw 2 of the items in Swamp. So Pod's even more dense.
Yeah, Pod feels like the way to go, and at very least, you already have everything you need to clear it out. And you have the mirror, so you can go ahead and do the Eastern Pod play, boom, get a couple crystals, get quite a few item checks. And looks like he's even going to turn in a shovel.
From Goomba's point of view, he sequence broke to the mountain. He has no idea if he sequence broke the lamp or if he sequence broke the flute. So from his point of view, like, the flute might just be in one of those earlier locations that he didn't do prior to going up the mountain.
Pirate's treasure there.
So for that reason, it does make a lot more sense for him to not want to do Pod, or not Pod, but Swamp, the rest of Swamp, because the mirror is either locked by the lamp or locked by the flute. And until he knows which is which, you know, it's not a gamble you really want to be making.
True. And yeah, looks like he's going to get the pyramid. So he's actually going to get his info right away.
Yeah, but it's going to feel bad, right? Because now he knows that Swamp is a viable place for the flute.
So he is back in sequence and probably heading over to Pod. Meanwhile, Thoris looks like he will be finishing up his Turtle Rock in short order. Goomba is going to be the first one to give us any new information.
Which has been true for most of the state. Goomba is a very accomplished runner.
This will actually give us a bit of information as well to know if Palace of Darkness was bow-locked at all. Nope. But if that would have been the big key or anything else in a small key, the amount of information you can garnish from Pod being bow-locked, given how buried that bow was.
Down goes Caterpie. Team just keeps throwing bombs in Voltorm Zero. I don't know why.
Hey, and there's our big bomb clue, and there's nothing there.
Good place to have that in the red crystal dungeon. Gosh darn it.
I mean, that's actually a pretty darn good hint right there. Oh, and Scruff Ninja Tuna says, you know, maybe I might have forgotten something.
Yeah, unfortunately, the only thing here is going to be a sword, which, while nice to have, is not leading to his progression.
This is interesting. Goomba's actually going to go back and do the boss of Pod first. And, you know, if he happens to drop the flute, great, then he can forego the rest of it and then come back in. This is not something you necessarily see often, but you see that logic played out in a lot of other dungeons.
Yeah, it's a pretty standard play. Like you typically do like the same thing in Skullwoods, right? When you have like one item left, you just go kill Mocula, and hey, if he has it, then I'm done. And in Pod particularly, this doesn't really lose any time because the boss is so separated from the rest of the dungeon.
Absolutely. You can only usually do it when you get the big key as early as he did. You know, if the big key is buried a little bit in the back, then you're stuck, but... Alright, and Helmasaur is down now.
Boop.
Hey!
Oh my god. Never punish! Freaking Goomba, man.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the textbook example of why if you can do the boss in a dungeon and you only have one item left, do the boss of the dungeon. Goomba just saved himself several minutes in the back of Pod, and he's in go mode. Yeah.
unbelievable.
I mean, at this point, I'm more jealous than anything.
Yeah, Goomba's routed like the whole seed, like as if, you know, it's just a normal, perfectly nice seed. And it was. So he got rewarded.
And by the way, the big key in Eastern Palace is the first treasure chest, so he can skip the rest.
Yeah, full go mode. I mean, in the whole seed, there were only two things that happened that were a little out of the way, a little uncomfortable, and that was a dip into Ice Palace early to get the cape, and the Bow and Swamp. But we had a hint for the Bow and Swamp, and the bottleneck in Ice Palace was really early, so like even if you did everything else first, it still wasn't a big time loss. This was just a nice seed. It's not a jet seed, it's not a super fast seed, but it was a nice seed. Just go to the places that have the things, right?
Now, I mean, when you think about it, having one required item in every pendant dungeon, we can't call that quite as fast as a jet seed or anything like that. It has forced you to go to a few places, and think this seed before the hint system would have been horrible.
Yeah, it would have been worse. Like, without the hints, we'd probably see, like, some pod and Eastern double dips before people, like, dive into Swamp Palace. Probably more full clears of ice.
Yeah, so, everything, I mean, Goomba's doing everything right, as far as I'm concerned, for this seed. He absolutely took some gambles here and there, but you know what? He has done perfectly fine. Oh, Demon wanted to enter Turtle Rock. Didn't have the magic for it, had to pop a pot.
Luckily, he had that potion, though, because if he jumped down, he'd have to reclimb the whole mountain. Well, I don't really think Goomba, like, God visioned the seed or anything. Like, mostly he played relatively safely, like, checking Bombo's tablet and K45 and stuff within the pyramid before going into pod. The only real gambles I'd say he made was skipping Spiral Cave, which he ended up redoing when he found the mirror anyway. And not finishing Swamp, which was a very reasonable play to make, considering he hadn't even been anywhere close to Eastern in pod yet.
You know, the play to go up Death Mountain before he had a fire source, I think was a bit of a bailout as well.
Yeah, that's true. Finding the fire rod on the way to Firelock Terra. But it's not like that was super unlikely to happen. Like, and if he had found like the mirror instead of the fire rod, then that just means like he would have an easier time getting back to Terra later when he did find his lamp.
All right, so Goomba realizing, oh yeah, I don't even have to check Meyer's shed. Oh, it's Ether. Do we get a bird toss? Are we gonna get a bird toss? I love a bird toss.
It is the best part of Link to the Past.
For the memes, Goomba. Do it for the memes. No.
Wow. Wow. Can you believe this guy?
I feel disrespected personally.
Somebody else will do it. I don't know. The frustrating thing for me is like I feel like I would have routed this very similarly to Goomba, but I feel like if I was in the driver's seat, it would have been Flute on Argus, and then like Cape on Cold Stare, you know. But I know that's irrational. It's irrational to think that the seed is determined by who's playing it. But maybe I'm just an irrational person.
At least, I mean, he doesn't immediately get the big key in Misery Mire. He does get his Fisher Price My First Shield.
So Mr. Scruff not trusting that bow. He's going to continue to the back of Swamp here.
See, and I feel like I'd play the same as Mr. Scruff. I wouldn't trust there to be nothing else because it's too dense. This is too dense of a location.
But it's not that dense because we already found the boomerang in the first chest. It's only 3 items, or 4 items. Where Pod is 5, Eastern's another 3. I would have noped out, is what I'm saying. Yeah, so this is the seed that we have today is an early boot seed. This was a bot created Plando essentially, where the only change is that the boots start on your feet. If you wanted to generate seeds like this for yourself, you can do so by whispering the Sahasrara bot in the Rando Discord.
I might have to do something like that myself. And of course, we have our spooky action at play.
It was a sword on Argus.
I mean, hey,
that's right. Isn't that what I saw? Maybe I'm crazy.
No, because he already had.
Oh, I'm crazy. Never mind. Just ignore me. So if you guys don't know, the commentary restream, like the stream that we watch to commentate, it's a lower resolution than what you get to see. Sometimes it's hard to make out what's actually happening, okay?
Frequently it is.
Goomba just found the Triforce on Vitreous. Wow, amazing. It may have been a map, though. I can't really tell.
It was kind of triangle-ish shaped.
It's basically the Triforce.
And now Goomba can just come over here, mirror into desert, knock that out real.
Oh, was he just getting arrows? Is that what I saw?
I think so.
Because he would have already had the big key, yeah. Yeah, I think he was just grabbing arrows. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. He doesn't have silvers yet. You're going to want some arrows for Ganon's Tower, just in case you have to fight Ice Armos. And you'll need arrows for the Mimics as well. And of all the places in the game to get arrows, Desert is by far the best. There are more arrows in Desert than any other place in the game, I think. Maybe GT has more in total, but they're like all spread out.
I would think those pots in the big chest room in Eastern Palace was actually pretty good as well.
Yeah, Eastern has a lot of arrows too, but like you don't go there to farm for them because you have to travel so far through the dungeon before you actually get to arrows.
All right, and another burrito on Landmo, which we already know. And ladies and gentlemen, man, the numbers are already starting. There are 22 treasure locations in Ganon's Tower that can possibly contain the Ganon's Tower Big Key. Go ahead, get your guesses in, 1 through 22. First one into Ganon's Tower is the one we're going to follow, so watch Goomba's stream for that. 1 through 22, Koi, my good friend. What's going to be your choice?
Well, I mean, it's Goomba, right? So wherever he goes first, that's the big key.
So you're saying 1?
If history has showed us anything, the route he takes through Ganon's Tower will most definitely be the most efficient one to get the big key.
All right, so I'm going to be less inclined to presume shenanigans. I'm going to say, it's going to be buried a little bit. I'm going to give it number 13. -1. What? He's just going to walk into it and the ROM is going to just hand him the big key. Just, here you go.
I think that means, like, when he finds the big key, it gets deleted from his inventory, and he has to find it again.
Yeah, Alistair, that's a great question. Goomba not using the Goomba Sprite, and then Scruff Ninja Tuna is using the Goomba Sprite. We've had all sorts of fun with that today.
You walk 5% faster if you're Link. It might be true.
That's not true at all.
It could be true. Do you have empirical evidence to the contrary, Vitasia?
I don't, but I'm fairly certain that our sprite development team does.
He's got longer legs than Goomba. It makes sense, right? Look how short Goomba's legs are. How could he possibly keep up?
Yep. Okay, that was number 4. He didn't even do...
Oh, wow, amazing. Goomba goes to Dark Magician's room first, and what do you know? A big key's there. God.
Didn't even do the whole room.
It's not even fair, man.
All right, I'm seeing who guessed number 4, Floyd 44. Congratulations. There's going to be a whole lot of salt in the post-race interview, isn't there?
What? No. I'm going to suck up to him. I'm going to be like, oh, Goomba, you're so good. Will you teach me your ways of just knowing where everything is? Because, I mean, the truth is, like, Goomba is really good, though, Maybe he's had a greater than normal amount of like good fortune in this seed. But the truth is, like, even if he got bad fortune, he'd still do really well because he's just good. The execution, he has had really good execution, very efficient routing, and stuff like that pays off.
It is worth noting, everyone, that this is a daily race that Early Boots attracts a lot of runners. There were 30 people who started this race. No one has finished yet. So Goomba might be on track to actually finish first in this race. We won't know, and we won't announce anything until at least Goomba finishes. So stay tuned for that.
He really hasn't been that lucky. It's all little things that have happened. Oh, Nanaha makes a good point, Tasha. He spoiled.
Well, yes.
He spoiled the results by not spoiling the results.
Well, I think it's pertinent information. I sincerely do.
Let's just say no one's finished on the restream yet, okay? Okay. Oh my god, Goomba just missed a fire rod shot. He's so bad!
And before Goomba's bad meme starts.
Learn to play, Goomba, seriously. I expect more from you. What? No silver arrows? I thought for sure.
You thought, of course, it's gonna be silvers because it's the only chest he opened, but no, just 10.
I want to say Goomba's really near the top of like the SRL point leaderboard. Like he does a lot of races and he often wins.
Alright, so Agatu is down. We are on our way to Mr. Blue Bacon himself. And this will be a silverless fight, so I don't know if he's going to get sub 130, but it's still within the realm of possibility. Meanwhile, checking in on some of these other runners, they are finishing up some crystal dungeons.
I don't think sub 130 is really possible. Like a sub 2 gaining, sub 2 tempered silverless is possible, but I don't think 90 seconds is.
I didn't think so. I will be interested to see where silvers are, because we have not found them on anywhere else.
It really depends on warps though too. Like maybe with like 0 warps you can do it. Which we're not getting today. Rip.
No. In his tower.
Naturally.
And yeah, it looks like he's only got set up for 2 spins per fire rod, which is a good pace. It's not, I mean, you can squeeze 3 in. Oh, there.
No, you have it. He'll hit triples whenever he can. I think he has plenty of magic though. Like I don't think he's gonna like wait to make sure he gets a triple every single cycle. He will for this one though.
There it goes down.
Yeah, so right about 2 minutes for the Ganon fight, Tempered Silverless. It's pretty good. Pretty good.
And there he does cross the bridge. Goomba 90 finishes officially in third place with an official time of 1:30:31. It's funny because just as Koi was razzing me for giving some information, Bwain finished in first place at 1:27:03, and then Koride finished in second place at 1:29:07. So GG's to Goomba finishing first on the restream. It's still super impressive how quick that was.
Wait a minute. You're telling me that Goomba didn't finish first overall?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And here is Goomba joining us here in chat. GG.
Hey, GG.
What wrong, Goomba? We expect more from you.
Okay,
Third
well, I'm
place.
sorry I couldn't skip all the overworld. Just bail on Swamp after the bow and go straight to pod immediately. My bad.
Yeah, no, it's it's real scary because like at that point, like you didn't know if you were skipping the lamp or the flute on going up Death Mountain. So
Yeah.
that meant all of the overworld and the everything behind the mirror was possible for having your progression.
I assumed I was just skipping the lamp because all I had left was Pyramid, Catfish, Pod Eastern, and obviously most of Pod is lamp locked. So it's kind of iffy. Could I just miss the lamp on Catfish or something?
Well, and then you turned around and how happy were you to see that flute finally?
It was pretty expected, honestly. Like, with the lamp being where it was and all the stuff being locked behind it on Death Mountain, like that chain had to lead to the flute eventually. So I figured it was just gonna be behind the bow in Pod or Eastern. I was not terribly surprised to see it on Helmasaur King.
Yeah, worst case scenario at that point is like if it's just deeper in swamp or something. But if that's the case, like most people at your level would have made that exact same gamble.
I'm sorry about that slight interruption. But yeah, I don't know. I think that entire seed basically just came down to Ice Palace. So much was locked behind going into that Ice Palace that I think making that play as early as I did is ultimately about the only thing that mattered.
Yeah, Ice Palace being pretty valuable. I mean, there really wasn't that much left. I mean, I guess like a double dip of Pod would have been like the worst thing that could happen. Somebody who really didn't wanna
I
go
had
there.
Pod, I had Eastern. If you like going to either of those is several minutes of time loss over just going to Ice Palace.
Yeah, I think Ice Palace was like it was a clear play to me.
Yeah, it was the obvious play, I think, but I'm sure some people still went to Pod first. Like, especially if you have that lamp, Pod looks a lot better. Because much more of it is in logic suddenly. At least theoretically.
Yeah,
Obviously,
that's true.
you can't know until you get there if it's in logic or not, because key logic, but still.
I can see a lot of people like not wanting to do the early ice dip, like just because of the execution required. Because like when it's green pen and ice, you're kind of thinking you're probably going to be killing Cold Stare, and not everyone's super comfortable with doing Master Sword or Fighter Sword fights.
Yeah, I mean, if there wasn't a green pen in here, I probably would have killed Cold Stare.
Yeah, that was
very
really amusing. You went to go check Pet like right after you already abandoned Cold Stare.
Well, I went to check Ped mostly because like I was going to check Bumper Ledge anyway, because like at that point I needed Bumper Ledge to have progression. And I figured, I kind of want this magic refill, Ped's right here, whatever, let's just see if I'm screwed or not. Yeah, I felt kind of silly checking Ped after having already abandoned the Ped boss, but I mean, it was then or never, right?
We had talked about it. We came to the conclusion that you got the hint in Ice Palace that says Greed Pendant was junk. And we're like, well, just double checking.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to make sure I didn't have to go back into Ice Palace, basically.
It's one of those neurotic plays where like, did I really turn off the gas? I can't remember. I gotta go check it before I go to bed.
Basically.
By the way, Scruff Ninja Tuna just completed the move that earned him the love of everyone in chat, which you, Goomba, did not do, and that is the one of the only bird toss.
Oh my jeez.
Yeah, why didn't you toss the bird? Why do you
I
hate
never
cat?
toss the stupid bird.
Toss the bird!
I don't want to toss the bird. My frames, okay? I want my frames. Like, if you really think about it, the time difference between me and first place was about 50 bird tosses. So, you know, every bird toss counts.
It's significant. It's significant.
Gotta save the frames, I suppose.
Exactly.
So yeah, other than that, what were your overall thoughts of this seed? Because it really did. It was, every pendant dungeon had at least something for you to do, but we all knew pretty early on that Bo was going to be in Swamp Palace, and then Ice Palace. It's weird that Cape locked so much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was a fun seed. Every pendant dungeon had something, but I think they were all... I mean, Front of Skullwoods, you just kind of do it. Because Front of Skullwoods is basically just overworld.
Yeah, Skullwoods is just on the way. Ice Palace was very clear from the logic.
Yeah, the game blatantly told us... Like, the game blatantly told us the bow was in Swamp Palace, and the game may as well have told me, hey, go to Ice. The Ice play was really obvious, I think.
Yeah, it was just a nice seed.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing you were missing was just the information that it was the lamp that got you up Death Mountain instead of the flute.
Yeah, but I was just assuming I missed the lamp. I mean, it would have been just like this game, right? To put the mirror like halfway through Turtle Rock and then lock the lamp behind that.
I was expecting like flute to just be deeper in Swamp. I feel like that would be what would have happened if I had been playing.
I mean, I would have just gone straight back to Swamp after Pod and Eastern, so it wouldn't have been that bad. If that were the case. Would have been kind of bad, but not terrible.
Yeah, I think that the real thing at that point, though, is that like everybody at that higher level of execution that you sit at, they would have made that exact same gamble to dip out after the bow. So,
yeah.
while it would have been a longer seed, it would have been a longer seed for everybody.
Yeah. My only real regret, honestly, is checking Bombo's tablet in K45 and Dig Spot after Swamp and not just going straight to Pod, because I was pretty certain the flute was going to be in Pod.
Yeah, that was a little surprising to me when I saw you go over to Bombo's tablet, because I thought maybe you would just leave that for if you ended up having to go back to Swamp.
Yeah.
But again, like, there was still that possibility that the flute was just there and the lamp was behind the bow.
Like, even as I was doing it, I was like, this is stupid, I shouldn't be checking these spots, I should really just go to Pod, but I did it anyway. Not that it really would have changed much. I guess I might have taken second place. I don't think that was 90 seconds. So ultimately, I guess it didn't really matter too much. It might have mattered if my Ganon fight was less disastrous, but meh.
Thoris is in... Meanwhile, on stream, Thoris is in a bit of a sticky wicket here. He's looking for arrows because he was out of arrows.
Yeah, I definitely made sure to get some of those in Desert Palace before going to GT.
Yeah, chat was asking if you had forgotten that we'd already been to Desert when you started going into the front.
Nah, I just wanted to not have to do Ice Ormus with no fucking arrows, and then not have arrows for the mimics, you know.
For sure.
Not really less. Also, language, sorry.
I didn't hear anything.
But, yeah. I feel like people tend to forget that there's like 50 bajillion aerobots in Desert Palace. It's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, there's more arrows in Desert than in Eastern, where you actually get the bow.
Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous how many aerobots are in Desert. But, I mean, it's even weirder when I'm pretty sure the developer intended weapon to fight Flame Wolves with was actually the Ice Rod.
Yeah, like, so Hospital gives you that tip about Ice Rod Cave being helpful for the next dungeon.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It was
It was
pretty
just a
nice, I
nice,
would say.
yeah, nice normal seat.
Nothing too strenuous, nothing too over the top.
Yeah, I mean, it made us go to all the pendant dungeons, but again, it made it exceedingly obvious that we had to go to the pendant dungeons, so it didn't really matter. Like, it's not often you can go to pendant ice at the 30-minute mark and confidently say, I am going to find progression here.
Right.
But in this seat, it happened. I just wish I had looked at the bumper ledge first. I never looked at that stupid thing, like, ever.
If you knew the cape led to the hookshot, you would have dipped out.
Like, if I knew the hookshot was there, I would have just left immediately when I got the cape. And that would have saved me probably 2 minutes. But alas. Thankfully the other two items in ice were really conveniently placed, so I didn't end up wasting too much time, but still.
Plus that green pendant hint.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, we don't. I mean, if you want to hang out with us, you can. But do you have any kind of like final wrap-ups for the season?
I don't know, I think I've said all that really needs to be said, but I'll chill in here for a bit, I guess. I got nothing better to do.
Well, you are more than welcome to join us. In the meantime, Thoris is on his way up. Looks like he's getting ready to the fun room. And Scruff Ninja Tuna has found silvers now. And Butter Sword.
Compass room.
Yeah. I suppose Dark Perdition wasn't as big of a time save as I would have hoped.
It's still a time save though.
Yeah, I mean, Silver's only saved like 30 seconds, Compass Room was about a minute, so... My math tells me that it was about a 30-second time save.
Meanwhile, Demon's Druid, it looks like, is on Palace of Darkness. Still has Misery Mire to do yet. But otherwise, all of our runners are in go mode and in good shape. Yes, PTG Mock. Goomba did just do math on stream. You've been tricked. This is not actually a video game stream. This is actually a math stream. We should come clean.
I feel so betrayed.
Oh, poor Mr. Scruff getting knocked off by the cannonball. Luckily, gives you iframes to just dash through it again. Nice triple there from Thoris. Easy 3 cycle. Very nice.
Meanwhile, Scruff is on his gauntlet in the final ice room. Thoris also does not have silver, so he'll have the effectively identical fight that we saw Goomba just have.
Maybe he'll screw up phase 4 less. Actually get some triples.
Oh! And a death. I don't think there was a fairy there.
Doesn't have red mail, that's interesting. I had red mail at like 6 minutes. Guess he never
Who
played
is
the
that?
kid.
Yeah, Sick Kid, I think.
Yeah, I had that bottle when I first went to CAC, so it's like it wasn't particularly difficult for me to check. Or maybe he just opted not to pick up the one that... The damn, who knows?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. One interesting thing to note while Thoris is on his fight, in 14th place, there was actually a tie in this race. So I always like to call out ties because that's fun. Frostbite 3030 and Shiva Haze 87 both tied at 145.48, like on the dot. So GG's to those two for tying.
Well, Thoris gets the top right position here with Ganon. This makes phase 2 quite a bit easier. Even opting to use the cape to make sure he gets out of there. Of course, this does mean he'll have less magic to do silverless later.
Yeah, I don't think he has any bottles filled with anything. Well, he might have a green potion. Meanwhile, Scruff is right on his tail, just finished Aga 2. Slow and steady, not really going for triples, just trying to stick with the doubles, which is fine.
You can get triples with a lamp, but again, it has to be in a very particular position for it to be possible.
Yeah, this strikes me as kind of a slow and steady wins the race, and that's fine. And there he goes down. GG's Thoris will get his official time in a second. Meanwhile, Scruff is now on phase 4 with silvers. So, gotta imagine that's going to be... And he got a slash in, actually, with Butter Sword. Oh, GG, Scruff Ninja Tuna. Also getting things down. So Thoris finished officially in 20th place with a time of 1:50.41, and Scruff Ninja Tuna finished officially in 22nd place, looks like, crosses that bridge with an official time of 1:51.08. GG's to both of them. Let's see if we can get them in here to chat for a sec. And GG's Thoris and Scruff Ninja Tuna, both of them now joining us in chat. GG's guys.
GG.
Hey, GG.
So pretty nice scene, you guys think?
Super linear, and honestly, if I was better, I think I would have actually finished sub 9. But that's totally if I was a better player. But still super fun nonetheless.
Yeah, we talked a lot about this with Goomba, but it wasn't like a super jet seat or anything. Like you had progression in all 3 pendants, but like they were either on the way, hinted at directly, or it just was very hard logic read with Ice Palace.
Oh yeah,
like nobody got baited into going into pod before going into Ice Palace.
That was
Ice
my
Palace
whole
was
thing,
really
yeah.
obvious.
I knew Ice Palace was going to have something, not only because it was a green pendant, but because we had gotten the flippers, the mitts, and Bombos medallion with no fire rod. So I'm thinking, alright, we're either going to have fire rod in there, or it's going to be something required. And I'm super, super glad I decided to check out Bumper Ledge before going to Ice Palace.
I did not do that. But, I mean, after Ice Palace was just a cape, I just went straight there, because I kind of needed that to be something at that point.
I'm also super happy that I decided to go right side for once. I typically go the Hope route, but I figured, hey, you know what, let's just go right this time and see what happens, and I'm glad it paid off.
I mean, it didn't though. Like it would have been faster to go left.
I got my silvers, and that is more than enough for me.
Who cares?
I mean, it's a slightly faster game of
It's
fate.
still slower.
I absolutely despise Silverless Ganon, so this was
But
a plus.
You're weird.
Is more fun.
Yeah, Silverless is a way more fun fight. Doing it with
No.
swords is boring as shit. You just shoot Ganon with some sticks. How's that fun?
I am absolutely terrible at Silvers. Although, since I was on Restream, that probably would have been more entertaining to watch.
I mean, it was an entertaining stream regardless. You guys were pretty close there, and after Thoris had a death on Ganon, we were like, oh, maybe Scruff can catch up with Silvers. Maybe. It was less than a minute difference.
That's gotta suck, though. Death of Ganon is never fun.
No, at least it was early. Dying in like phase 4 or something with Master Sword, no silvers, that's the good stuff.
But seriously, though, the freaking... The placement of the seed was just so weird. And I can't believe that Cape was your progression to get you to East Side Death Mountain.
I was actually expecting Ice Palace to have the mirror so we could go get the bow from Swamp. Just go to pod with that, but I guess not. That came a bit later.
I mean, and you also had your Turtle Rock entrance kit right there on Death Mountain, right next to it.
Right?
Yeah, that was a bit suspect.
I was not expecting those two to be the unique item in Paradox Cave.
I actually got a bit worried then, because I had been playing like super thorough up to that point, and then in Paradox Cave the sea just sped up dramatically. And I didn't feel too great about that. And then I continued to play way too thorough anyway, and checked a bunch of stupid overworld before going to pod, because I hit myself.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, you orphaned Spiral Cave to go into Turtle Rock, and like that would have been super punishing if Spiral Cave had like the mirror or something.
Yeah, but I mean, it was so obvious there was going to be something in Turtle Rock, and I was only looking for 2 items at that point. So
And then you end up checking Spiral Cave
It's just-
anyway.
I mean, yeah, since I got the mirror in Turtle Rock, I ended up checking it afterwards. I just didn't want to like go through Spiral Cave and then climb back up to get to Turtle Rock.
That's what
So
I
I
did
just
and forgot I
checked
didn't
too
have the
low.
mirror to check out. Yeah, Death Mountain and then mirror to get the Turtle Rock open.
But yeah, I ended up checking it after Turtle Rock since I got the mirror, so why not, right?
For sure.
Although I still, like, I kind of wanted to just go get the bow from Swamp and go straight to pod, but I ended up checking some garbage instead. Oh well.
I was kind of hoping that the flute would have been somewhere weird, since the seed was already being kind and giving us all of the required items like at the front of each dungeon. So I was hoping that Left Side Swamp or Argus would end up having the flute. But after finding that there's just one item on Left Side Swamp, I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that.
I just bailed right away when I got the bow. I figured I'll just go to pod and East, and if it's not there, I'll come back. It's not that big of a time loss.
Oh yeah, that was the best play right there. It's always fun to find a unique item that's required on Helmosaur. Especially when it's your go mode.
I mean, getting to skip the entire back of pod was pretty cool. I like that.
Now, which sword was your guys' first?
The one in Escape.
Yeah, same.
That was my third.
Yeah, we were
Four.
wondering. We were like, what was your thought process as you finally end up going to Escape? Were you like, man, I hope I didn't miss something here, or?
When I got that hint saying that there's a unique item in Castle Tower, I'm like, ah, crap, I could have had the flute all this time. And then it ended up being the King of Brian instead, and I was like, oh, okay, well, let's just continue anyway.
What was in Dark Cross, by the way? I never checked Dark Cross.
It was a heart piece.
Nice.
It was awesome. And I gotta say, I'm glad that I actually got that death off of Cold Stare, because I totally would have thought this was a ped seed. I went into Cold Stare with 4 hearts and only the hammer. And so I was like, maybe I could do that.
I just didn't go to Cold Stare. I got the free items, got my green pen and hit, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm not a nice palace.
I got the cape and just bailed. It was like, last time there was an item in there I needed, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to clear all, and it was a waste of time. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to bail this time.
Oh, and Demon's Druid forgot to go get some arrows as well.
Finds out the hard way that 2 arrows is not enough.
Whoops.
You got a shovel, buddy. Get digging.
I was super surprised to find all those bottles in GT. That was hilarious.
Well, they gotta be somewhere, right?
Yeah, the one thing I was actually hoping not to have happen, and thank God it didn't, when I saw that hookshot over on Bumper Ledge, I was hoping that Cape wasn't going to be in GT. Because then all the hover people would have been like, screw that noise.
I wasn't too worried about this being a hover seed, because he knew the bow was in Swamp. It was pretty likely the big Q was hookshot locked anyway. It wasn't, but it was likely.
Wait, Demon's Druid has the big key, doesn't he? Why
Yeah,
is
he's
he
going after
digging out?
the arrow pots instead of digging outside.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I mean, he should have gone to the right side.
See,
Would've
this
gotten
exact
his silvers.
situation is why I took the time to grab some arrow pots in Desert Palace before I went to GT.
This was the first time I can recall that 3 of you were like, yeah, let's all go farm some arrows in some capacity. You went to desert, and someone else was digging outside. This is kind of interesting. I've never seen so many people that low on arrows.
I mean,
This close.
it's natural, right? Because we basically did Eastern Palace right before the End's Tower. I mean, there was Mire in between, but you don't really get arrows in Mire.
Yeah, Mire was my last dungeon, and I went into the video with 6 arrows, and I was like, that's not enough to kill any of the eyes, and then decided to use all 6 arrows on the video himself. That was very smart.
Oh,
Then I had
there's
to
some
farm.
arrows.
Because like you sink 18 arrows into the Armos Knights, you need 8 for the mimics in GT, and then if you have to do ice armors for the big key, well, sucks to be you.
It's not as big a gamble as it used to be, though, since they took the capacity upgrades out. Like, it's fairly likely if you're going to Ice Armos that you find arrows on the way, in addition to the I think there's 3 really easily accessible pots with arrows in them.
Yeah, there's a few, like 4 ice armors, 3 or 4. But I figured better safe than sorry.
Oh, definitely.
Why not take the like 20 seconds to grab these 15 arrows in desert before I go up there?
So the question I have, and it's been a long time since I've seen Demon's Druid, does he know Silverless Ganon?
I would imagine so, if he's not full player in GT.
Now I kind of feel bad being the only one with butter and silvers.
So where was that 4 sword though? I only found 3.
Compass room.
Yep, right alongside the silvers.
Yeah, I completely stopped doing right side. It's just never paid for me anymore, so I'm like, just go straight left. Or straight good.
Oh, thank God, I wasn't the only one that goofed up on that stupid room with the cannonball. I mean, oh no, demon, no.
I had some strange knock-offs on that room as well. Well, not the same, but in past experience.
I've always decided to go ahead and just do the easy thing of falling off immediately, that way you get the invincibility, and then just beelining right through it. But lately I've been like, I'm gonna time it just right so I can just walk all the way through it.
The time difference is actually like really small between frames and walking.
I've also never seen so many full magic pots drop in an escape sequence, or in a Ganon's Tower gauntlet. Like, there have been 3 or 4 full magic pots drop.
Yeah, I absolutely love that, especially since half magic was nowhere to be seen.
It's really helpful when you're used to using the fire rod to clear out the gauntlet. So that's what I'm used to doing, is just using the fire rods and just burning everything. And it's like, oh yeah, lots of magic, we'll just keep refilling.
And that's why I love using the bow. I'll switch depending on how much ammunition I have. But those dang land moles just were not one to play night.
It could be worse.
Oh yeah. was seriously contemplating going back after I found the lamp on Pyramid Ledge just to go do Desert Palace to get out of the way. Thought better, of course, since I only have a hand.
I mean, Lamo didn't have an item, there wasn't really much point.
Yeah, that's what decided it for me.
I just
Save
did
it.
ask my last crystal after Meyer, because there was no reason not to do it. There was no reason to do it earlier.
Yeah, we knew we were getting the float somewhere, so I was like, we need the float, we need the mirror, because, well, we'll just wait until we have Meyer access and then
Yep. My thoughts exactly.
I really do enjoy how linear this seed was, because it had you go to Ice Rod Cave, Witch, to Desert, then ended up getting Dark World access from, got your Flippers, then your Titan's Mitts, hop over to Ice Palace to get your Cape, get your Hook Shot. Of course, the routing itself would have been terrible, because it has you like bouncing all over the world map without a flip. But at least
Yeah.
we had boots.
Yeah, there's that. It was pretty straightforward, though.
I like how the boots were in the well. It was like, regardless if we started with them, it was still the only boots.
Yep. They were still nice and early.
Yeah, I had to chuckle at that point. I guess they really were just early boots this time.
Well, raised them one.
I'd like it to be a little bit more evil, and instead of just putting, like, the boots inside your... go ahead and put the boots either in Sync Chest or Link's house.
See, I was questioning that, because it does say early boots, it doesn't say you start.
Yeah, it's a bit misleading.
Does that mean they're in Link's chest?
It'd be pretty amusing though if it was like randomly in one or the other Link's House or Sanctuary, and how that would affect people's routing. Like you just do one and then the other, right? Like everybody, and like.
I mean, I would just start
50-50
at
whether
Sank
you
and
use
save and quit the
time.
Link's house.
Yep.
I started Sank and then do Hulahan, and then check Link's house. Well, that would have shafted me completely if it was actually in Link's house.
Eh.
I was going to ask you about that Houlihan start, by the way. Is that just your normal start that you try to do on these sorts of seeds?
I tried to do it with everything. All my starts go to Hulahan, and I think Super Metroid and like the past combo has sort of trained me to do that. Because you just come out, save equipment to the Sanctuary, and then do Hulahan, go check Link's house and grab, get bombs. And then you just thread out through actually go and bomb. It's much safer, but it's a bit slower.
I mean, Saw's Class is just the best start in this book seat, if you ask me. It's so good.
Yeah, I made the commitment after going through like everything and getting the hammer and all. I was like, right, there's definitely nothing at Eastern. I'm not going over there.
I was legitimately surprised at how many people forgot that you could bonk the escape wall and Sahasrala's wall and
The race game.
the race game.
Muscle memory.
Yeah, all three of those are bonkable, you guys.
I bonked all of those.
Muscle memory. Did you see me
bonked
pick up the
every
bomb
single
and
one of them.
actually blow myself up with it?
That's awesome.
I still missed the wall in the process as well, so I have to waste another bomb.
I tried to bonk Chicken House yesterday on the restream. I know I can't bonk it, but I had the boots and I couldn't stop myself.
So this is why I knew...
Every wall.
Except that one. And I knew this was going to be a good seed just because the fact that I got the chicken clip right off the... That was good.
Oh my jeez. You guys seen your memes? First the bird toss, got the chicken clip.
Well, the
Hey,
chicken clip doesn't lose any time though,
But it's
unless you
stupid.
softlock, I guess.
Well, unless you softlock.
And then
If you
it's your own
softlock,
That's a whole nother problem.
Hey, the way we figure it, we're all in this to make chat entertain. So, chat likes
I'm
its
in this to get SRL points, man. I don't know about you. There's those
Yeah,
sweet,
points.
sweet
It probably
SRL
has like
points.
100 SRL points. Like, I'm not really worried about it.
When those coins are converted to dollars, then I'll start carrying.
I have enough SRL points to realize that they mean nothing.
The points mean prizes.
Oh, did Demon get the torch bush?
He did.
Nice.
Yeah, the reason I kept dying to Gaia was I'm adamant I'm not going to use any of my magic because I've got half magic and I'm going to go one potion. That's it. Thank you very much for the
I was honestly getting ready for Silverless because I was thinking, alright, I've got the green potion, I've got tempered, I can do this. And then I found the silvers, it's like, nope, I'm good.
I'm always really disappointed when I find silvers. Silvers are so much more fun.
That doesn't mean you have to do it.
I mean, no, but when I find them, I'm kind of obligated to because it's faster. It's just boring.
Boo. Well, I gotta go do some stuff, so I shall see you all later.
Alright.
GG's, everybody.
Yep, thanks for joining us.
Anytime.
Just waiting on demons to finish up here.
There we go.
I think I'm going to get out of here as well, guys. So, thanks for commentating. And thanks to the trackers.
Yep. And Demon's Druid finish in 24th place with a time of 2:12:56. GG, Demon's Druid.
GG.
GG. I'm get on out of here as well. Thanks for tracking, commentating, all that stuff, the usual.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'll hopefully see you all around sometime for some more rando. So,
Definitely. See you, Goomba.
See ya.
Yep, have a good one. And we welcome now Demon's Druid. GG, you just mentioned in SRL that was your first time doing Silverless.
Turn my mic off in order to not talk. Smart. But yeah, that was my first time Silverless. Man, what a seed. Felt like I did good at the start.
Yeah, it comes to find out that just about everything ended up being locked behind that cape in Ice Palace, and not a lot of people. I mean, some people started that early, but as soon as you got through that, everything else just kind of fell into place.
Yeah, and I was thinking even to do Ice Palace before Eastern, but then I thought, Eastern area I still had back of Sahasra's closet. So I was like, that's more items. Everybody else did that already, probably, so let's just do it, get it out of the way. If there's nothing, and I lose almost no time. And if there's something there, then the others have it and I lost time on it.
Yeah, it was absolutely kind of an interesting seed. It eased up as soon as you got past that because everything just kind of led to one thing or another. Good job though, keeping your nose to the grindstone, getting everything done, and knocking it.
I was also when Gannon said, "Have you find my the silvers in my tower?" And I was like, "Oh, amazing!"
Unfortunately, they were over in a compass room on the right side. You did a great job for that being your first silverless fight, though.
I thought it was harder.
Yeah, so like a lot. This applies to like most things you can do in a Link to the Past. Like it looks really difficult and impressive, and like holy moly, how do you do that? And then you actually just learn how to do it. It's like, oh, that wasn't that bad.
Mm-hmm. Where did I most get caught back? What was the problem I did in what the others did earlier than me, or did better?
The Eastern double dip, I think, was a big one.
Eastern double dip, and then I would say the other one was your struggles with blind and having to go back and do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you lost a pretty significant chunk of time to blind being blind.
But yeah, I think other than those two things, you would have been sub 2 hours without blind, and then the Eastern double dip. And it was a great seed to be able to get a PB for.
Yeah. In SRL, people were like, this seed. I was like, ooh, this was a nice seed.
It wasn't like all three pendants had progression, which like on paper sounds really bad, but the way it played out, it made it actually kind of a nice, easy seed. Like the Skullwoods progression, like it's in the front. Like people typically treat that as overworld and check it pretty regularly. The Ice Palace Cape was a pretty hard bottleneck, so like even if you did everything else first, you still get there pretty quickly, even if you don't read the logic into it. And then the Swamp Palace Bow, we had an explicit hint for it that every single person was going to check on their way to the hammer. So nothing was super out of the way.
Yeah.
Like the worst thing that could have happened to anybody would be like if they double dip pod.
Oof.
Like if you followed the lamp into pod instead of the bombos into Ice Palace.
Yeah. I can see that. But it was I praised myself on it that I went into Skullwoods, because that was one of the points I had in earlier seeds. Like, okay, that's got to be improved upon. I need to go into Skullwoods earlier. And I just thought, okay, I can combo it with Bumper Let's check, and let's do that. And both had items. I was like, oh my. Perfect time.
Yeah, it definitely worked out really nicely.
Where was Half Magic, or was that even found?
I don't think we ever saw it.
Yeah, we probably never saw it. We saw quite a bit of between what you opened up and what everyone else opened up in Ganon's Tower. Felt like we got most of everything out of there except for Ice Armos. So it was either there or maybe in the back half of Pod. We just didn't see it.
Left side swamp? Or swamp balls?
Yeah, we never saw left side swamp. I think there was one item over there.
There was at least one item left side swamp.
And I'm not even sure we saw everything in Mire, since everybody got to go mode it.
I got both items out of Mire.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did Mire and I was like, crap, that's both items. Okay, gotta go somewhere else. What also didn't help me was that I ran out of arrows on GT Climb.
Yeah, we did see that, and then you kept on going. Someone else actually on stream did the same thing, because you guys had just finished up Eastern Palace not all that long beforehand. And they opted to go outside, and they used the shovel to dig up arrows, and that ended up being a little bit quicker.
Yeah, digging outside is a lot faster than going into looking for like the arrows in chests or pots and stuff, just because like they're all so deeper into the dungeon than you really want to go. But of course, you don't always have the shovel, so knowledge of those pots is super helpful still.
Yeah, I didn't really think about shovel, and I just was like in my head, okay, I know one place where there's guaranteed arrows, Kakariko. I don't want to go there.
Definitely
Let's just
not.
continue. And then I got arrows after the chest. I got arrows, like even Moldorm 2. After Moldorm 2 arrows, I was like, well, thanks, game. A little bit late.
All right. Well, we're getting close to having to wrap it up. Do you have any final thoughts about the seed, Demon?
I PB'd with about 15 minutes, so that's good. I liked Seed, and thanks for being here.
Well, GG's once again to Demon's Druid. First time, PB, first time doing Silverless Ganon right here on the stream. Also, GG's to Goomba, McScruff Ninja Tuna, and Thoris. All of our runners, if you liked what you saw from them, go ahead and give them a follow here on Twitch. Also, a shout out to our trackers today, Link Force, and there was someone else who had to leave. Angel has
Angles.
Angles.
Angels.
Whatever. It is what it is. Make sure to also subscribe to all the Speed Gaming Network channels, Speed Gaming 1 through 6. We do have, it's going to be a little bit of time before our next race. There is a Final Fantasy race tonight at 8 o'clock. None of the channels have been assigned for this yet, but we have a Final Fantasy race at 8 o'clock, and then at 9 o'clock we have a Metroid Prime race, our other Link to the Past daily race that will be an open mode seed, and also a Zelda 2 randomizer weekly, also going on at 9. So lots of things starting at then. And
Open
then
mode. I thought it was Randomizer tonight.
it says open mode on the schedule, so that might change.
Lies. I think on the commentary schedule it says Randomizer.
Well, someone's lying. Tune in. Guess. We'll figure it out. There's also a Mega Man 2 randomizer that's going on at 10:30 this evening as well. So, okay, Chaos Boss Randomizer is what our tracker Link Force is
Sweet.
telling us. So, the schedule's wrong. Interesting. But that's going to do it for us. Coy, do you have any final thoughts, I suppose?
I really like the seed, and I wish I'd been in the race. I wouldn't have won or anything, but I feel like I would have done well-ish in this particular seed.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I probably would have liked this one as well. It seemed to go relatively smoothly, and I would have enjoyed it. But I might just download it just to see what I can do, even though I know where everything is. Otherwise, that's going to do it from those of us here at Speed Gaming. Remember, follow everyone. We'll see you guys at the next race. Have a good rest.